Hello there, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. My name is Sarah and I am the style coach. Today's video is one that is in popular demand. Following my video on how to wear yellow, a lot of you have been saying, can we see this for all the colors? Can we see this for red? Can we see it for blues? And I think I'm gonna try get through them all. But today is a focus on red. So I have my reds ready. See what I did there? I have reds ready to go to show you a little bit of color theory in terms of what red is and who should wear it and what kind of reds you should be looking for and all that jazz. I'll be showing you little tips on how to recognize if a red is warm or cool as well. So stay tuned and now let's get started. Before we do, can I please ask you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the like button, and if you would like to do so, you can give some super thanks and I would be super grateful. The first thing to note about the color red is that it is a naturally warm color. When we think of red, we think of maybe fire, heat, all of those kind of things. And that gives us warmth, right? So that's how to think of it. We can look at it on the color wheel. It's on the warmer side of the color wheel, along with oranges and yellows as well that reach across the color wheel here. On the underside is our cooler side. So with that in mind, when we think about red, we can think about if we move in a more orangey yellow direction, we are getting warmer. If we move in the more purpley blue direction, we are getting cooler. A good visual to have in terms of picturing reds, whether they're warm or cool, is in autumn, you know when the leaves turn that gorgeous orangey burnt red type of color? That is your warmer colors. When you can visualize those, that is what warm red looks like. Also think of spices and earthy tones. They all tend to be on the warmer side. If you can visualize those, then you know you're thinking of those warmer tones. When you come into summer, a good way to think of your reds is watermelon. You know it's kind of got a pinky tone to it, pinky red tones. That is your cooler red. Now the thing to note about true red is that it actually naturally exists in the winter color family. It is slightly on the cool side, quite neutral, but it is on the cooler side. It's that jewel tone that looks so beautiful on a winter color person. If you didn't know already, I am a winter color person, and of course I'm not wearing red today. To be honest, I don't have a lot of red in my wardrobe. It's just that I'm drawn to more pinks. I like pinks more than reds. Just a personal choice, nothing about what exists in my color palette. In fact, one of the only red things I have in my wardrobe, I think, is my winter coat that is in true red. It's not a very blue red, it's just a true red. It's right there in the winter color family. If you think about this kind of true red existing out in nature, we find it in berries during winter. You know, on holly you get those little red berries, that's like a true red. So that is exactly where we find true red. Now if we look behind me on the wall here, I've got some cooler reds on this side and it moves into warmer reds. I'll show you a little bit closer. As always, if you're not sure what you're looking for in terms of is this red warm or cool, it's always good to compare it with another red if you're in a shop, for example, or if you have a couple of reds in the wardrobe. So when we look at a red, you might think, gosh, I don't know if it's cool or if it's warm until we place it next to another red. Hopefully you can see the difference here that this red is a lot more blue toned than this one here, which starts to become a little bit more orange. This is a rust red from autumn and a bright burgundy from winter. Let me just hold these up to myself. Now it's probably going to clash with my pink lipstick today, but that's okay. Hopefully you'll still get the idea of the cooler one suiting me better. So here's the bright burgundy on me, and the rust red, which tends to bring out yellow tones in my skin. Now I'm wearing makeup today, so it may not be so obvious. Also, there's a very bright light on me. Not ideal for color consultation analysis, but that's okay. Hopefully you get the idea anyway, that this one is blue toned and this one is more warm toned yellow undertone, making it a little bit orange colored. Here's another blue red. You can see it next to the bright burgundy. There's a feeling like these colors belong in the same family. Here's another cool toned red from the summer family. This is watermelon. And again, you can just see that these are cohesive. They feel like they belong together, nothing standing out. And so these are all cool tones. They all have blue undertones. Now let's do that jewelry test that we also did on the yellow, if you remember that. Let's start with our piece of gold jewelry, and we can put it on top of our cooler tones. And hopefully you can see that it seems a little bit separate, and you might want to see it against the warm tones in order for you to actually really see the comparison. But it's kind of sitting separate to the colors. It's not blending in, it's kind of sitting on top of those colors. Let's have a look at what the silver looks like. Now with this muted silver on top of these blue tones, it feels much better. I hope you agree. These tones working much better, feeling like they belong together. It's capturing the coolness within the colors, and it just works very well. Now let's talk about those warmer reds. Here I've got rust red that we saw before and a deep tomato red. Just to give you an example from spring as well, this is Ferrari red. Now it's part of bright spring, so the temperature is kind of neutral, and you might feel like it's not obviously warm, and you're quite right to say that compared to these ones. So if you're somebody who has those neutral temperature undertones, so if you're neutral warm, neutral cool, you won't be too concerned about the temperature if you're bright, for example. Also, if you're light, dark, soft or muted, all of those characteristics, if that's your primary characteristic, you're not going to be overly concerned with the warmth or the coolness. So it's not going to be too much of concern. You're going to be more focused on how bright it is, how soft it is, how light or dark it is. But let's go for the obviously warm ones this time. So these have those yellow undertones, giving it kind of a more orangey look to the colors. Now let's do our jewelry test. We'll take our gold first of all and place it on top of the warmer red tones. Now this to me feels like the jewelry is just melting into the color. It is cohesive, it's not jarring, it's not fighting with the color, it's not hard on the eyes. We don't want things to be hard on the eyes. It just feels like it belongs. That is harmony. However, if we take our muted silver and place it on top of those warmer colors, again we get that feeling of it just being jarring and not belonging together, separate, and it's just all a little bit off. I hope you can see that through the lens of the camera and with the lights on. So if you're trying to identify reds within your wardrobe or within a shop, let's say you're out shopping and you're not sure what you're looking at, always do the test where you compare and contrast two reds together. That will always show up which one is warmer and which one's cooler. And also, bring a piece of jewelry with you. If you are warm undertoned, you're probably going to have gold in your collection. If you're cool undertoned, you're probably going to have some silver or white gold or platinum in your collection. Make sure you bring that with you. Or maybe the shop will have their own jewelry collection, in which case you can do that test by placing the jewelry on top of the cloth. So that was your mini masterclass in red. I hope it helps you make better choices when it comes to your colors. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments below. That's it for today's video. I do hope you enjoyed it and learned something new, and I'll see you again next week. Take care.